I'm Dave Hewett. I was born into a musical family. We were all in the Salvation Army. I was given a cornet when I was 10 years old, and within a month or so I could play it pretty good. I played in the Salvation Army brass band from age 10 to age 18. At age 15 I came across jazz. I discovered the recordings of Louis Armstrong and was knocked out, and from there on the brass band took a back seat. Jazz took over, and at age 18 I taught myself to play trombone, and I started to learn jazz, which is a lesson that you never finish, of course. From age 20 until 74, I've been a professional jazz musician, playing jazz clubs all over Europe really, jazz festivals, on cruise ships, theatre shows, played everywhere really. Shared the stage with all sorts of people, a lot of visiting Americans, Wild Bill Davison, fantastic cornet player, Billy Butterfield, Kenny DeVerne, so many names I couldn't remember them all. I played in Switzerland at the Montreux Jazz Festival on the stage with Stefan Grappelli and Teddy Wilson and Barney Kessel. I've also been on the stage with Chris Barber, Georgie Fame. We also ran our own jazz club for 10 years that Sylvie, my wife, ran. It was called Sylvie's Place, and it still goes but under different management now. And that was fantastic because I got to see and work with a lot of British bands, you know. I have to tell you, from the moment I left my house with the trombone in the back of the car, I looked forward to the gig, and as I took it out of its case, I loved what I was about to do. I really loved it. It was fantastic. A really great life. I lived in a very friendly neighbourhood, and there was a dear old boy who lived about 3 doors down from me, and he would walk up to my front garden every morning, and he would sit on, we had a low wall, and he would sit on that wall and chat if I was there, or just rest. But I noticed he always looked very sad. So one day I said to him, "What's wrong, Harry?" He said, "Dave, I have permanent noise in my head. I had a brain tumour removed, but the damage that the surgery did to me has left me with a permanent hiss in my head, very loud, constant, it never stops, it drives me mad, I wish they'd let me die." So that was the first. I knew nothing really about tinnitus before that time, and of course I hadn't experienced anything like that, and I just felt shock. Tinnitus is a horrible condition. It means that you live permanently in noise. Tinnitus comes up when you start to go deaf, when your hearing starts to fail, when there's damage to the cochlea. When that gets damaged, your hearing goes down, your tinnitus, your residual background noise comes up. If you continue putting yourself in harm's way, in more and more noise, you can expect your hearing to go down, you can expect your tinnitus to come up. In 1992, I had an unpleasant illness called sarcoidosis. I came through that pretty well. It did affect my lungs badly for about 6 months, but I came through seemingly unscathed. About a month later, I realised that I was scathed because I had some very low-level tinnitus, mostly in my left ear, and I thought, I don't like that. What can I do about that? Can I get rid of it? The doctor pretty soon told me, unlikely, you'll get rid of it, but it didn't really bother me. It was so low that I could just ignore it really, until my trauma, which was in the middle of 2014. Eventually it was a health decision really, you know, important to take that step, though. I mean, I miss my playing life like mad, meeting all of the guys and joking about. I miss that terribly, but more than that, I miss my silence. Yeah, I won't experience that again. That's one way, a sort of long-term medium damage that builds up until it becomes noticeable tinnitus. The other way is tinnitus can occur in 10 seconds. It can occur if you are near sudden, fierce sound, acoustic trauma, if your head is near a burglar alarm, a fire alarm, if you're a musician and there's a burst that comes out of the amplifier. The people that are at risk are kids who use headphones, and particularly the in-ear buds. They're very bad. Driving cars where you can hear them 3 cars behind you in a queue, and you can hear the thump of their stereo. Particularly musicians, particularly people in the military, gun ranges, that sort of thing. People in the building trade, carpenters, plumbers, I suppose. Anybody who is going to be around heavy noise continuously. When you go to a disco, it can happen in one night. It can happen in 10 minutes of dancing in front of that whacking great speaker. And if you think, if you're going to be in noise, really worth having a good set of earplugs, and essentially, if you can avoid loud noise, do so. To give you some idea of what I experience, my residual tinnitus volume is between 50 and 60 decibels roughly. This is a decibel meter. If I voice match to that, I imagine that's about 60 decibels. It's unmaskable. I haven't found I can stand on the side of a motorway, hear the traffic, hear my tinnitus, because my tinnitus is that much closer, it's indoors. To give you an idea, to get a sound that would mask it, the only thing I've been able to find is my electric razor. If I stuff that right against my ear, I can't hear my tinnitus. Can hear that damn razor though. So that's, I mean, you wouldn't like to see me walking around with that strapped to my head, would you? I'm such a fool sometimes. People with tinnitus can experience all sorts of always unpleasant sounds. I mean, I hear a low hiss, like a distant rain noise, which I believe is pink noise. I hear a very heavy hiss on top of that, which is white noise, and that contributes to my 60 decibels. Some people hear cicadas or crickets, you know, tick, 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 tick. Some people hear a very, an engine noise or a low thudding noise, or very common is a squeak. That you don't want any of these things, you know, you don't get to choose. What determines your particular noise is the particular area of damage. And the cochlea sits inside the eardrums and it receives noise. The cochlea is covered with tiny little hairs, rows and rows, thousands of them, and they're called cilia, stereocilia. As you get acoustic abuse, these little hairs, they break and the nerve underneath them dies. There's a theory that the brain realizes it's lost a segment of its information, so it turns up the amplifier, if you like. It goes looking for what it can't find. And that may be, they think, brain activity while the hiss gets louder. Certain things are very well known about tinnitus. It never sleeps. Even when I sleep, my tinnitus doesn't. If I have sensors put on my scalp, they will show neuronal activity, firings across neurons, tick, 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 tick. All the time. Neurons are firing while I'm asleep. I mean, I guess we all have some brain activity in dreams and things like that, but this is one reason why a person with severe tinnitus, which is what we're talking about, can wake up and feel very tired because the brain's been active all night, you know. It never stops, really. It never stops. Most people have a degree of hearing loss, and then with that comes tinnitus, and as the deafness increases, so does the tinnitus. Some people have deafness and no tinnitus. Some people have tinnitus and no deafness. From everything I've read, there is much more that's unknown about tinnitus than that which is known. I mean, there's no cure. There's no treatment that will affect the volume of your noise. The only treatments that exist are psychological treatments like tinnitus retraining therapy, which educates you about tinnitus. There's cognitive behavioural therapy, again, which will try to find a way you can cope with it better. You have to find your own adjustment to it, which takes time, it's not easy. Myself, I rely quite heavily. Every morning I do some meditation. I do it in a nice warm bath. My comfort level helps me to get past the noise. The noise is still there. Nearest way to dismiss my noise as much as possible is to imagine that I'm standing in a rain shower, because I live my life in a rain shower. I know it's a rare condition. They reckon that 10% of the world population have some tinnitus. Maybe less than 1% have severe tinnitus. And having told you how severe it is not impossible to lead a life. You can experiment with coping methods and find things that help. I'm the sort of person that I have to understand it. I mean, people have said to me, don't read about it, don't go on the internet. Oh, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. I've got to know as much as I can about it, and then know your enemy. I mean, you have to, in the end, it's best not to see it as your enemy, but to see it as something that you can learn to hopefully cope with well. Lovely family, lovely missus, lovely kids, fantastic grandchildren. Everyone's got the best grandchildren, haven't they? 3 beautiful therapists that live with me in the shape of pussycats. Annie, my little Persian, Percy, and Tim Tom. And they are fantastic, and I can get up in the middle of night in a lot of noise, and if one of the cats is on the bed, blimey, perfect. Yeah, they're a great help. You try to drum up support with your family, obviously, which is great, and they eventually get to understand a lot more about it. You mustn't wear away at them, but you want them to understand, really. You must be aware that hearing damage can give you tinnitus, which can vary in intensity from something that's pretty mild and not much to worry about to something that's pretty hateful and very much to worry about. So please, everybody, look after your luggos. So important.